When Prince Charles arrived this morning, the scene looked set for a totally successful lift. Engineers had worked throughout the night here to have things ready for the 8:30 high tide, a tide that would give them nearly 6 hours of perfect working conditions. 48 tons of steel hawsers had been attached to the protective cradle that encased the Tudor warship. Henry VIII had ordered his salvage experts to devise means of lifting the wreck 437 years ago, but it had proved beyond them. It needed 20th century technology to make the lift possible. These timbers of the Mary Rose, flagship of the Tudor fleet, had not seen daylight since she foundered on this spot in July 1545. Then the Solent had echoed to the cries of 700 drowning soldiers and seamen. But on this rainy day in October 1982, the Mary Rose broke the surface to the sounds of a celebration. Divers who previously had only been able to feel the wood of the warship in the inky blackness of the sea were now able to walk across the hull. The Mary Rose, probably overloaded with men and equipment, had dropped to the bottom like a stone. This portion of the hull, 125 feet long, has been almost perfectly preserved for more than 4 centuries beneath the soft silt of the Solent. Prince Charles, whose personal involvement in the project has helped to raise the £4 million the underwater excavation has cost, took to a boat to view the wreck at close quarters. The hull is priceless, and the Trust believe that when fully restored, it will give the nation an historic treasure on a par with Stonehenge. The safety of these Tudor timbers, representing the best of the 16th century shipbuilder's art, has always been paramount. So it must have been with a sense of horror that Prince Charles saw what happened next. Safety pins supporting one of the legs of the lifting frame had collapsed under the strain. And this is how it looked from another angle. Prince Charles told me later how he felt at the moment of the collapse.
Well, obviously I was slightly horrified, to say the least. But in fact, I noticed that fortunately it hadn't done any damage to the superstructure of the Mary Rose, which was the fortunate part. But it did leave a nasty feeling in the tummy, I can tell you.
We had a very good shot of you. You obviously had an extraordinarily close ringside seat just at that moment. It really did look pretty horrifying when it happened. Did you actually think that there was a danger the whole thing might collapse in on you?
No, because I was busily trying to tell the Royal Engineer who was driving the thing to keep away from it, because it's just the sort of thing that can happen, and if things snap or anything, the cables can whip out. So I didn't think there was any point in being too close. So I kept saying, well, let's just get away a little bit.
But your heart
and
must
sure enough, it did. Well, it did, because, yes, it did, actually. The important thing is to be British and not panic. So we didn't.
Thank you, John.
And all was well. Marvellous.
And really, it hadn't been too bad. A close inspection showed a few timbers damaged, but nothing, in the words of one spokesman, that couldn't be put right by a carpenter and a joiner in a couple of days. Late this afternoon, the barge that would carry the Mary Rose on its triumphal return to Portsmouth Harbour was hauled into place. It's taken 17 years and the world's biggest ever underwater archaeological excavation to raise the Mary Rose. When she went down, she represented one of Tudor Britain's finest achievements. Sadly, perhaps, one devoted entirely to warfare. Late this afternoon, she lay here, dwarfed by the technology that lifted her from the grave. And here on the Solent tonight, the Mary Rose is leaving the site where she's lain for more than 4 centuries to return to Portsmouth. Hopefully her journey this time will be less eventful than in 1545, when she sank while preparing to go to battle against France. Norman Rees, News at 10, with the wreck of the Mary Rose.